Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for your next installment of Santa Rosa Week. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson.
And you found us on Channel 27 MediaCom. We'll be here every Saturday from 4:30 until 5 p.m. You can also find us on YouTube, all the previous shows. So please, if you find us educational, entertaining, by all means, drop an email to your friends. Get your friends and relatives to look in on us.
And let us know if there's anything you'd like us to cover in our show.
Absolutely. We are, always looking for new stuff for the show. Well, Deborah, this week, a very hot topic. From a personal standpoint, we have now moved Commissioner Salter back to the chairmanship, and apparently he's wasted no time. We're going to start right out of the gate with a controversial issue.
The wet-dry issue is back.
The wet-dry issue has raised its head again, and I do have a pretty good memory, but I had to do a little research. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to start out and we're going to give you the historical facts, how the wet-dry issue has taken place in Santa Rosa County. So
currently, you can buy alcohol on a Sunday in the South End.
In the South End.
But not in the North End.
But not in the North End. To refresh your memory on a special referendum, September the 5th, 1991, this was a referendum. It was in 4 precincts in the South End. That was East, River, and South. So this was specifically for the South End of the county. Now, the title of this is the Tourist Development Tax Referendum. In this referendum, you're actually kind of voting on 2 things. Do you want a tourist development tax? And do you, yes or no, on the sale of beer, basically at that time,
on a Sunday,
from noon until midnight? Now, I have the historic numbers for that. That was held in 4 precincts in the South End of the county, Precinct 10, 22, 23, 25. That was, at that time, the precincts south of the East River. And on that issue, and keep in mind that was for the tourist development tax and beer sales on Sunday. It was a combined item.
Okay.
That was the South End referendum, tourist development tax / beer sales on Sunday.
Okay.
Okay. So now we move forward to 1998. In 1998, that would have been November the 3rd of 1998. For the North End vote, it was actually broken up into 2 separate items on the ballot that year. The first referendum was, are you okay with having tourist development dollars set aside for the promotion of Santa Rosa County? That referendum passed.
Bed tax.
The bed tax.
Right.
The bed tax passed. The second item was sale of alcoholic beverages, which are legal in Santa Rosa County on Sundays after 12 noon for the North End of the county. So basically the same vote that occurred in the South End happened in the North End. And the numbers on that was against alcohol sales on Sunday was 11,265 voters were against it. 8,228 voters were for it. Percentage basis, it was 58% to 42%. So we've actually already asked that question before. And
it failed that vote.
It failed that vote. Now, I guess we're at the part of the program now where the commissioners can do it one of 2 ways. They can change it by a vote of the commissioners. They can change the ordinance, or it can go to a county referendum. I think one of the things that was pointed out in the meeting was you have commissioners who represent the South End who are voting on what goes on in the North End, and maybe that's not altogether fair.
Right.
We would like to point out to you that Commissioner Cole and Commissioner Williamson, who both represent North End, basically, districts, they voted not to allow this to move to the Thursday's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, as a small business owner myself, in this depressed economy, most people that I know, because of a lack of business, are not trying to expand their days of operation. They're basically trying to cut back. Most people I know have gone to 4 days, or 4-day work weeks in order, to cut their overhead and their labor expenses, just in order to survive until the economy picks up. So I just don't think that's a good argument.
Mr. Chairman, I just cannot. I appreciate the businesses. I am also a small business owner. I've seen where we've had to go from specializing in just small cars to working on, besides imported cars, American cars, whatever it takes to keep the doors open. However, I'm not going to open on Sundays. I don't really see a mass exodus on Sundays after church running out of this county to go spend dollars in other counties. I can't support that argument. I don't think when businesses look to come to this county, one of the things they look at is, can we buy beer or drinks on Sunday for our new employees that we're going to bring here? Everybody out there knew this going in, that this was an ordinance. It sounds kind of like a zoning issue that we hear when somebody moves into something and then wants to change it to suit them. As far as the south end being able to do it and the north end can't, I don't feel like two wrongs make a right. And then when I just basically get right down to it and talk about Exodus, I got to turn to the Bible and look at Exodus where it says to keep the Sabbath day holy. And that's part of, I think, what's wrong with the fabric of this country today, is we have not kept the Sabbath day holy. The gentleman back here witnessed to be a Christian and was given the opportunity on Sunday to either drive to Pensacola and buy beer for some employees, or perhaps the Lord opened a door that you could have witnessed these people. I'm not going to sit up here and act like a holy roller. Certainly a lot of you out there I probably drank a beer with. But this isn't a request in this book, this is a commandment to keep that day holy. And I've got to support that. And again, I think it's part of what's wrong with this country, is losing some of that fabric of what this book says and what this country is founded on. So I will not be supporting it.
Now, we don't know what's going to, as of this taping, we don't know what'll happen Thursday, whether they'll vote to continue this process or not.
Right, and the math on this is they will have their vote at the next county commission meeting. That vote, let's say they decide to change the ordinance. If they do decide to change the ordinance, then there will be advertised public comment period.
Right.
Where the citizens can come before the commission and express either for or against the issue. It will not as until after public comment period.
Now, we had a lot of people come forward and talk about this Monday.
Yes,
we had some business people.
Had some business people that came forward.
What we're asking for is just one ordinance, and that's it. The south end is no different than the north end at this point. We all are businesses. We all are looking to stay in business. We all want what the south end has. We're not trying to pad our pockets. We're not looking for additional revenues so we can spend money or in any way. We want our businesses to stay afloat. We want our businesses to survive what's going on right now. There's over $400,000 right now set aside to do nothing but promote the north end of the county as a tourist area. We're not only known as some of the great beaches in the United States, but we're also known as the canoe capital of the world. We have as much on the north end of the county as we do the south end. All we're asking for is equal rights. And I think by having today what we have to offer with the tourism that is put in place and is being promoted by the county, that we're not asking for anything that the south end didn't ask for in 1991.